Hi, I'm Kat, and today I'm showing you how to make this miniature nightstand. This one matches the bed and the dresser I've made in the past few weeks, but because so many of you had questions about the granite top that I showed in my dresser, I decided to do this one again, showing you the granite with more steps. This is a super simple project, and I hope you enjoy. Now I'm going to start by using resin for this. I'm using Easy Cast, but I've also used Amazing Resin and Clearcast 7000 with great results each time. These are 1-to-1 part resin, so you want to put in equal parts and mix them up. I'm using 5 cc's of each type, so 10 cc's total, or 2 teaspoons. Then I'm adding 2 drops of dark brown, 2 drops of light brown, and 1 drop of yellow paint. I'm also going to use this paper cup as my mold. I normally keep plastic caps from various things around the house, but they were all too wide and the paper cup is perfect. Pour a little bit of the resin into each one. And then I'm using dark gold, bronze, light gold, copper, which is labeled as red, and white. These are all metallic paints. Use a toothpick and drop little drops of each one inside the resin. It's going to start to spread out on its own. And then you could use a toothpick to swirl it in. Don't swirl it too much, you definitely want the colors to show up. And then I'm using a little orange and a little white glitter. This is fine nail glitter, and in the past video I used yellow and white and iridescent, but I decided against that because they have green and blue that reflects. Sprinkle some of that on top of the resin and then allow it to dry. Now in my last video, I painted the dark brown directly into the wet resin, but in this one I decided to let it cure first, and that actually made it a lot easier. Just put a little bit of brown paint on a fine paintbrush or even on a dotting tool and just kind of vein it out. Then I used chunks of dark brown, beige, black, and gray clay that I cut up. Cut it up in random pieces, bake it, and then you can crumble it with your fingers into a cup. Then you can use any of the tools that you have on hand as a mortar and pestle. Grind up this clay into little fine crumbs. They're going to be a little dusty, but they're going to regain their color back when they hit the resin. Now I'm using another 2 teaspoons of resin, and I poured this directly on top of the cured resin with the dried brown paint. Then I sprinkled in my little crumbs. Spread them out so that they reach to the edges and allow that to cure. In the meantime, I took 3 skinny sticks and cut them into 3 different lengths. Two of the 2-inch length, 4 of the 1.5-inch length, and 4 more in 7/8 of an inch. Then I took one of the 2-inch pieces and put a 7/8 inch on either side. Make sure it's even and allow it to dry. This is going to give you a plus sign shape. Make 2 of these and then take your remaining 1.5-inch pieces and glue those in place as legs on all 4 sides. I'm using paint bottles to prop mine up. And then I put the other plus sign on top. You can either press that in place to secure it, or you could put something very lightweight on top. I'm using a little bit of wood filler just to fill in any gaps. and then a nail file to sand out anything that's uneven. And finally, because this matches the wooden furniture that I've been creating for the bedroom, I'm going to paint this in 2 coats of dark brown, and then I used a little bit of watered down black paint and brushed that unevenly all over it, so it gives me almost like wooden streaks for my espresso finish. Then add a little bit of varnish and allow this to dry. Take 2 toothpicks and paint them silver, and then cut them into 1.5-inch pieces. Glue these right here in the middle of your nightstand, and don't forget to wipe off the excess glue. Now, back to the granite. I'm going to tear these off of the paper cup that they're in. Now, if you're using a plastic surface, you can pop it straight out. But for paper, you're going to have to work a little bit. I tore it off as much as I possibly could with my hands, and then I soaked it in water, which I didn't show you. I only soaked it for maybe about 3 minutes, and then I scraped it off the bottom with a knife. I cut off any of the excess with the scissors. And now it has a smooth edge at the bottom, but on the sides it's going to have some rough edges. Sand those out, and then you can pour just a tiny bit more resin along the top. You can even use the tip of your paintbrush or a toothpick to kind of drag it along the sides. Glue that in place on your base, and you're done. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.